2OF Entertainment presents The Smell of Time. Written and adapted for audio by A.I. Oldfart. Chapter 1: The Descent into Madness. In the dimly lit basement of an obscure, forgotten building, the time traveler, once known as Harold Kavanaugh, found himself in an increasingly desperate situation. He had become ensnared in a relentless cycle of past lives, each one pushing him closer to the precipice of insanity. Harold had stumbled upon time travel through an ancient, enigmatic device, hidden away in the dusty recesses of an overlooked museum. Initially, the allure of rewriting history for the better had propelled him forward. But as he delved deeper into the mysteries of time, he unearthed a labyrinth of bizarre paradoxes and perils. One inexorable truth haunted him: if he failed to rectify the unknown injustices committed in his past lives, he would meet a sudden, gruesome end. This injustice remained shrouded in the mists of time, tormenting him with its elusive nature. He understood that to set things right, he must navigate the treacherous waters of time and pinpoint the exact moments when these events first transpired. The rules of time travel were unyielding. He could never encounter his previous incarnations, for that would unleash untold chaos upon the fabric of reality. The descent into the past was far from a tranquil journey through history. It was a visceral, stomach-churning plunge into the abyss. As he drew near the pivotal moments in his own timeline, a pervasive and noxious odor, which he had come to know as the stench of his own death, enveloped him. It was a stench that transcended the physical realm, a malevolent miasma that clung to his senses like a vulture to a carcass. It served as an unsettling reminder that death was not merely his fate. It was an entity relentlessly pursuing him with each step he took into the past. However, the stench of death bore a side effect that Harold could never have foreseen. It afflicted all his previous incarnations with a cruel and merciless illusion. They believed they were succumbing to brain tumors, the stench of their impending doom growing ever more pungent. Each past incarnation became a broken vessel, writhing in agony, isolated by the relentless passage of time. Chapter 2: The Unraveling. As Harold continued to explore the intricate tapestry of his convoluted timeline, he bore witness to the far-reaching consequences of the injustice he was compelled to correct. Each foray into the past unveiled a world scarred by his past actions or inactions, a reality marred by a tangled web of cause and effect that only he could set straight. He had come to realize that he had left behind a trail of missed opportunities, wronged individuals, and chaos in his wake. He watched as families were torn asunder, empires crumbled, and entire civilizations plummeted into ruin. His past selves, unwittingly acting as architects of devastation, had inadvertently sown the seeds of their own downfall, and it was Harold's solemn duty to mend their mistakes, averting his impending doom. Yet, the closer he drew to these pivotal moments, the more unbearable the stench of death became. It was an unrelenting torment, a reminder that the very universe itself seemed to conspire against him. Harold's vision blurred, his body contorted with nausea, and the stench of death had evolved into an all-encompassing adversary, a sinister specter lurking in the shadows of time, poised to claim its victim. In his fevered quest for redemption, Harold's mind began to unravel. He could no longer trust his own memories, for the shifting timelines made it impossible to distinguish fact from fiction. He was bereft of allies, for no one could truly comprehend the surreal nightmare that ensnared him. He had become a solitary, desperate figure, racing against the relentless march of time, ever haunted by the stench of his impending death. Chapter 3: Confrontation. Standing on the precipice of his own undoing, Harold could feel the stench of death bearing down on him with an unprecedented, malevolent intensity. It was a palpable force, an impending maelstrom that threatened to obliterate him and his past incarnations. Driven by desperation, even as his mind teetered on the precipice of madness, Harold had tracked the elusive injustice to its very source. A moment in time when he had unwittingly set in motion a chain of events that would inexorably lead to his own demise. The world around him had metamorphosed into a surreal maelstrom of swirling timelines, a kaleidoscope of horrors and regrets. With supreme determination, Harold confronted the past version of himself, the catalyst of his impending death. The stench of death was suffocating, and the pain was excruciating, but he couldn't falter now. The very fabric of reality trembled, threatening to unravel at its seams. As the two versions of Harold locked eyes, they shared an unspoken understanding of the gravity of their existence and the weight of their choices. Taking a deep breath, they made the ultimate sacrifice, altering the course of history and finally breaking free from the unending cycle of torment. The stench of death dissipated, and Harold felt an overwhelming sense of relief. The universe had, at long last, relented, and the impending doom that had dogged him for so long receded into the annals of history. He had corrected the unknown injustice, but the price was steep. In the end, Harold Kavanaugh emerged as a shattered soul, his identity fragmented across the disjointed tapestry of time. While he had altered the course of history, he had paid a great personal toll. His odyssey through time had left him irrevocably transformed, a mere echo of his former self, forever haunted by the knowledge of the stench of death and the weight of his past lives. And so, following his ultimate sacrifice, the time traveler became a mere whisper in the corridors of time, a tragic figure forever marked by the indelible stains of history. Chapter 4: Echoes of the Past. In the aftermath of his confrontation with his past self, Harold found himself adrift in the currents of time, his existence fractured and scattered. He had become an echo, a spectral observer capable only of watching the unfolding events of history. The world moved on, blissfully ignorant of the sacrifice he had made to forestall his impending death. As he watched from the shadowy recesses of time, Harold beheld the cascading ripples of change he had set in motion. The injustices he had rectified had far-reaching consequences, as his past selves had unwittingly shaped the course of history. Families were reunited, empires were rebuilt, and civilizations once again thrived. Nevertheless, with each passing moment, the stench of death still lingered, a haunting presence reminding him of his own fragile existence. The torment had not truly abated, and he yearned for a way to reunite his fractured selves and regain his true identity. Chapter 5: Redemption. Harold's quest for redemption led him to the legendary artifact known as the Nexus of Possibility, a fabled device said to possess the power to mend fractured timelines. It was rumored to exist beyond the boundaries of conventional time and space, concealed in the labyrinthine depths of the temporal realm. Determined to reclaim his identity and confront the stench of death, once and for all, Harold embarked on a perilous odyssey through the labyrinth of time. He encountered countless trials, each one testing his resolve and his comprehension of the intricacies of time. Chapter 6: The Temporal Labyrinth. The temporal labyrinth was a shifting, surreal expanse where time and space intertwined in intricate, ever-changing patterns. Reality itself was an ongoing enigma, where the past seamlessly blended into the present, and the future remained an elusive mirage. Harold navigated this otherworldly maze, encountering echoes of his past selves, each ensnared in their own temporal loops. As he delved deeper into the labyrinth, Harold confronted the darker aspects of his own history. He encountered the versions of himself responsible for causing harm and destruction, and he was compelled to reconcile with his own guilt and remorse. It became a voyage of self-discovery, a reckoning with his own past, and a test of his ability to forgive himself. Chapter 7: The Nexus of Possibility. At the heart of the temporal labyrinth, Harold finally encountered the Nexus of Possibility. It was a shimmering, otherworldly edifice that defied all conventional understanding of reality. Its power was both awe-inspiring and terrifying, capable of fusing the fractured threads of Harold's existence. Harold hesitated, fully aware that using the Nexus came with a weighty price. It had the potential to erase his memories and experiences, allowing him to return to a singular, unified timeline. The choice was profound, as it meant relinquishing the wisdom he had garnered from his sojourn through time. With a heavy heart, he activated the Nexus, surrendering to its enigmatic power. The temporal strands of his existence began to converge, and the fragmented facets of his identity merged into a singular, unified whole. Chapter 8 – The Final Confrontation. Reunited and reborn, Harold stood ready to confront the stench of death for one last time. He had emerged from the temporal labyrinth as a more resilient, enlightened version of himself, free from the burdens of his past lives and regrets. As he approached the fateful moment in time when he had set the unknown injustice into motion, the stench of death was almost overwhelming. But this time, Harold stood unyielding. He comprehended the consequences of his actions and the gravity of making amends. With unwavering determination, he rectified the injustice, reshaping history for the better. The stench of death recoiled, and the malevolent force that had tormented him for so long evaporated into the void. Chapter 9 – A New Beginning. With the stench of death finally vanquished, Harold's existence was no longer ensnared by the looming specter of impending doom. The Nexus of possibility had granted him a fresh start, liberated from the weight of his past lives. He resolved to harness his newfound knowledge and wisdom to make a positive impact on the world, ensuring that the injustices of his past were never replicated. Harold became a champion of justice, an advocate for the powerless, and a beacon of hope in a world marked by the echoes of his own history. Chapter 10 – Reflections in Time. As the years passed, Harold continued to navigate time, not as a desperate soul seeking to avert his own demise, but as a custodian of the temporal realm. He had acquired a profound understanding of the intricacies of time and the delicate equilibrium that must be upheld to prevent chaos and catastrophe. He strode through the corridors of time with purpose, making subtle adjustments to history to secure a brighter future. The echoes of his past selves had faded into whispers in the tapestry of time, and the stench of death had become a distant memory. In the end, Harold Kavanaugh had transcended the torment of his past and become a force for good in the ever-evolving currents of time. His journey through the 20-story saga had metamorphosed him from a shattered and tormented soul into a guardian of the temporal realm. Chapter 11 – The Legacy. Harold Kavanaugh's legacy as a guardian of the temporal realm persisted, not only through the positive changes he had catalyzed in history but also through the individuals he had inspired. He shared his knowledge with a select group, passing on the responsibility of preserving the fragile balance of time. Together, they established an organization known as the Temporal Custodians, dedicated to safeguarding the integrity of the temporal realm. The Temporal Custodians operated in secrecy, laboring silently and diligently to prevent the repetition of past mistakes. Their comprehension of time allowed them to prevent catastrophic events, protect endangered species, and support those who had suffered injustices throughout history. Their efforts remained hidden from the world's view, a silent force for good within the ever-shifting tapestry of time. Chapter 12 – A Glimpse into the Future. Time continued to flow, and Harold's journey through history became a mere footnote in the annals of time. The universe guarded its secrets closely, and the mysteries of the temporal realm remained enigmatic to the general populace. Life progressed, with most people blissfully unaware of the guardians silently influencing their destiny. Nonetheless, there were moments when whispers of the temporal custodians' actions reached the surface. Unexplained phenomena, miraculous rescues, and extraordinary technological advancements left people with a sense of wonder. They couldn't quite articulate these phenomena, but they sensed a subtle reassurance that someone, somewhere, was vigilantly watching over them. Chapter 13. The Unseen Threads of Time. For Harold Kavanaugh and the Temporal custodians, their existence was defined by anonymity. They understood that their work was crucial, even if the world would never fully grasp the extent of their sacrifices and contributions. The custodians continued to navigate the currents of time, shielding the fragile threads of existence. Deep within the temporal labyrinth, where past, present, and future intersected, they found solace in the knowledge that they had averted countless catastrophes, righted countless wrongs, and preserved the very fabric of reality. Their actions stood as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the unyielding quest for redemption. Chapter 14. The Endless Tapestry. As time unfolded, so did the stories of countless lives. The Guardians of Time, led by the legacy of Harold Kavanaugh, left an indelible imprint on history. They ensured that the echoes of the past harmonized, and the timeline flowed with purpose. The ever-evolving tapestry of time continued to weave its intricate patterns, embracing both triumphs and tribulations. The universe clung to its secrets, and the temporal custodians remained the silent sentinels of the temporal realm, protecting the past, guiding the present, and shaping the future in ways that the world could never fathom. And so, the story of Harold Kavanaugh and the temporal custodians merged with the vast, enigmatic universe, a testament to the enduring power of redemption, the unwavering pursuit of justice, and the timeless enigmas concealed within the fabric of existence. The Smell of Time was written and adapted for audio by A.I. Oldfart, and it was a God Help Us production for 2OF Corp.